All right, yeah. Something you guys don't know about me, I'm a big 70s rock fan. That's what I grew up with, playing the guitar in my grandpa's band. Some Eagles, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Pro Wrestling Experience here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Hope you guys enjoying the show. We're going to head down to the good state of South Carolina, and we have a good wrestling mind out there. His name is Doug O'Mac. He's from out in South Carolina. He's at Twitter at Doug O'Mac and part of at Wrestle Rumors Wrestling Warm-Up. Doug, welcome to the show, my friend.
How's it going, my friend? It's good to be here. Yeah, little Eagles at the start. That's awesome. I like that.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about music before we get into the wrestling stuff. I saw that you are a guitar player. How long have you been playing, and what's some of your favorite bands?
Oh, man, I've been playing music. I've been singing since I could, since like age 3, and then I started playing guitar in 1997, so almost 20 years.
Wow.
I've played in a few bands that used to tour around the East Coast, and then right now I just do acoustic gigs around South Carolina and Georgia and North Carolina. So, yeah, a few of my favorite bands. Okay, Eagles is one of them. I'm hoping to go see them in Greenville on July 12th. I'm a big classic rock guy. I like a lot of different things. But for me, big time South Carolina band, Jump Little Children. They haven't put out anything in 10 years. But they just reunited. They're going to be doing a tour at the end of the year. It's going to be awesome. I'm stoked for that. But I love Metallica. I love so many different styles of music. Mark Broussard, who's a blues funk guy from Karen Crow, Louisiana. I love a ton of different things.
We're already starting off on a high note. We got a lot in common. I've been playing guitar for almost 15 years now. I've been part of numerous jazz bands, and I grew up in a music family. My grandpa owns a guitar shop here in Chicago, and obviously Eagles is my favorite band. Also got Tom Petty, Beatles, obviously, a lot of cool stuff. And of course, as everybody loves, whether you admit it or not, some part of your life you love professional wrestling. Let's get into it. We got the Chamber coming up on Sunday. Before we get into that, obviously, for those who don't know you, you are the editor-in-chief for WrestlingRumors.net. Tell us a little bit about the site and how you guys make yourself stand out from other wrestling websites.
Yeah, so WrestlingRumors.net. We got started a few years back. When I've been a frequenter of wrestling sites since the internet began, and the original WrestleZone and Wrestling Inc. and No DQ and a bunch of different old sites that have been going forever. I got tired of seeing just little blurbs, and I went to Clemson University in South Carolina for journalism, and so the whole point was, all right, let's get some writers that can actually write some good editorial stories along with the one-line blurb of news or rumors that are coming out. So we take the one-line story that everybody else has up, and we write a good, 5 to 6 paragraph story, kind of giving you some history and backing on what this means for this guy or for the business or that kind of thing. So we take pride in our writing. We like to think we have some of the best writing from any wrestling site. It's not just a one-line blurb. Mm-hmm. You're going to get some good reading out of our site. And I think the other thing I'm really proud of is our app. Man, our mobile app is awesome. So it's free. You can go to the App Store on Android or Apple and get that up. And I'm just a big fan of keeping things simple, keeping things looking great, and trying to provide the best content that we can, not just standard copy paste bull crap that 1,000 other wrestling sites do, but actually put some good writing and thought behind it.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I see where you're coming from, man. Singing for a guy like all I do for as far as my writing is concerned, I just write down what goes down on shows and stuff, and that's how I get most of my product knowledge or studying of the product. Is basically like going over what's going on in the shows each week, and like I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to rumors because a lot, like you said, a lot of people just take everything from everybody else and not put it in a right light or not doing it for the right reasons or whatever.
Right.
And I enjoy what you guys do. I love the show you guys do every time before Raw and pay-per-views. So I don't have a lot of respect for dirt sheets, but if there's one website besides the one I write for, it's WrestlingRumors.net.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. We try to say we're putting a different spin on the dirt sheet. I have a couple guys that I know that actually work for WWE, so I talk to them frequently. We try not to dog a lot of stuff. We try not to beat up a lot of people. We try to give a good retrospective on things. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't some times where people's opinions come through too much, and but like rumors where something that's just outrageous and like, oh my God, like can that even be real? We're not the site to just throw it up. We make sure. I mean, and all of us that write on the site, we talk to each other 24/7.
Yeah,
on Facebook, we're constantly talking with each other. And we're always listening to every podcast, listening to every interview to make sure that it was transcribed right. We're not putting up a BS story. We're trying to be more professional as far as the journalism standpoint instead of just taking what somebody said with a grain of salt. If it's a rumor, we're going to tell you it's a rumor and do not believe it until it's been proven correct. Absolutely,
and we don't need the daily CM Punk update.
right?
Let's talk about the Chamber. It came out of nowhere. It's had a 2-week build, obviously, like Payback, and of course we got Money in the Bank after that. But looking over the card right now, obviously some interesting matches. It's not a pay-per-view; it's a network special. So who knows what that means? Is it going to be a 2-hour show or a 3-hour show? But I'm really looking forward to the show, the Chamber. What are you looking forward to when it comes to the pay-per-view on Sunday or the network special?
Well, it is, with the WWE Network being what it is a pay-per-view. I mean, they're going to run it a 3-hour show just like they do for pay-per-views. There's nothing going to be different. It's going to be run just as if they would have been running on pay-per-view. But since they added it at the last second, to where, they even had to cancel the Greenville House show that was supposed to go on at 1 o'clock here in Greenville, South Carolina. They canceled that so everybody could be there. It's going to run from 8 to 11. And you're going to get the same kind of style show you would see on a pay-per-view. The only reason they don't, there's only a few cable companies that are running the pay-per-views anyway.
Yeah.
So they have the freedom to just say, okay, well, this is going to be a network exclusive, which also helps them gain subscribers who, if they don't cancel within the 50 minutes after the pay-per-view goes off the air, they get charged on June 1st. So it's brilliant on their part because they're going to have paying subscribers because however many 500,000 people that are going to sign up to watch Chamber on Sunday, majority of those people are not going to remember to cancel their subscription in the 50 minutes between the end of that show and midnight. So it's brilliant on their part to plan this way. But again, like what you're saying, there's 2 weeks now between the last pay-per-view and the next one, which is Money in the Bank. So it's going to be a filler show that's just going to be entertaining. To me, the most exciting thing is not even a chamber match. It is John Cena versus Kevin Owens.
I'm actually wearing Kevin's shirt right now. I'm glad you
brought
that. And, I've been trying to find a new favorite guy for the WWE roster since Punk left last year, and it's been an interesting thing. I've been going back and forth from Bray Wyatt to going back to my love for Randy Orton, but Kevin Owens is a man, and he's been kicking ass for this past 6 or 8 months, and I don't think this thing's going to be lasting long as far as him on the main roster, but I think for what he's doing right now, it's really cool. It's really good for him to get his name out there and also the NXT brand, but at the same time, I can see where other people saying that you shouldn't let what NXT does dictate what you do on your main shows.
Yeah, no, I agree to a certain extent, but we're seeing more of the NXT flavor on Raw, which has made Raw more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Over the last few weeks. You can see more of a fingerprint from Triple H getting some more creative control because of the success of NXT. NXT house shows are selling out. NXT live, like the tapings are selling out in like 15 minutes. It's a hot brand right now. So why not capitalize it? Have your champion on the main roster shows. I know that he, spoiler alert, Owens does say that he's been on the main roster for 2 weeks in a promo that's going to air tomorrow night on SmackDown. Not to say he is going to be on the main roster, because I don't think that he will be. Maybe he gets called up sooner, because people are going to, John Cena made sure he tried to put Owens over as much as possible during Monday Night Raw. Not to mention, he was trying to get people to chant "Fight Owens, fight." He did that like 2 or 3 times to make sure that everybody knows who this guy is and that he does have a catchphrase and a chant, and he's trying to get him over so that the match on Sunday, there's good heat and good fan interaction, which is one of the best things that John Cena brings to the table is fan interaction. Yeah. So when you have Owens coming in this hot, where they give him fresh gear, like he's got new fight shorts and a new T-shirt, that to me screams they see the potential in this guy, and he's not just going to be an NXT indie guy. He may come up faster than half the guys that have been there for 2 or 3 years. And you were mentioning earlier that the Chamber, all at the end of the day, is kind of a filler pay-per-view, but at the same time, as we've gone from like WrestleManias to SummerSlam or SummerSlam to the Rumble, there has been lull stretches of bad content or going through the motions when it comes to a Raw or a pay-per-view during that time. But something that I'm noticing when it comes to this summer and the spring, ever since WrestleMania came to an end, is the fact that maybe they're doing it in a subtle way and maybe it's not over the top, but I feel like they're actually making more guys meet more, not just from the main level perspective, but also from the mid-card. Yeah, well, I think they have to. They're realizing they can't always have all their eggs in John Cena's basket. The guy cannot wrestle forever. Okay? Give him credit where credit's due. He gets the most fan interaction. He is the top dog. He can run with anybody, but, he's working with mid-carders. And that is going to elevate all the mid-carders that work with him. And I think they've finally figured out we've got to start making the stars of tomorrow, which is why you have Seth Rollins as the champion, working the whole, edge heel gimmick, and trying to get over that way. And you have Ambrose, and they're going to continue to try to build Reigns as the next top babyface. But they're doing a good job. These mid-carders, like as you say, that are going to be focused in the IC title chamber match. Outside of R-Truth, Sheamus, Rusev, Ryback, Barrett, and Ziggler are being featured prominently on television. And a lot of people say that Ziggler's buried, or they use that term way too low, or way too often, and don't understand what that means. If you're buried, you're not on TV. And you have guys like Sheamus, Rusev, Ryback, Barrett, Ziggler. Barrett just got King of the Ring, which he may lose a lot, but them putting King of the Ring on him means we like this guy. He's going to be on TV a lot.
Plus, he's him
to be a workhorse.
Yeah, and of course he's a bad guy, and he kind of trolls the crowd with like telling them to stand up with his scepter and all that stuff. So
right.
Of course he's gonna lose here and there, but it's better than just him just being there just to be there. So I'm glad that they did put the King of the Ring on him. Obviously, there wasn't much they could have done. They only had about 48-hour time span for that tournament going on, but I think it's cool that Barrett got the King of the Ring. Over the last couple of years, there's always been this one like major angle that's grasped people during the summer, whether it was the Summer of Punk or the rise of Daniel Bryan, which brought in the new corporate or authority angle from SummerSlam a couple of years ago, and of course last year to break up the Shield. So here's a question I have for you, Doug. What is the big summer angle of this year?
If it's me booking it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because I look at professional wrestling from the entire history of professional wrestling, and I look at it and say, all right, smart money goes. The fans don't want Roman Reigns as a face. You turn Roman Reigns heel. And that's the big swerve at SummerSlam, is that Roman Reigns turns heel, and then you let him be a heel because I totally, like, it seems like they are teasing the animosity between Triple H and Stephanie and Seth Rollins even. As much as they try to say he's our boy, they're also looking at him like, you know, you're an a-hole that's even thinking you're bigger than us. Yep. So at some point I'm seeing a switch. I'm seeing a swap. And, you know, that could come to with, I've predicted this since WrestleMania 31. I feel like we're going to get a Shield triple threat for the title at WrestleMania 32. All the other big name guys are going to be taking with like Sting and Undertaker and maybe Brock and somebody else like Cena. And then you have The Rock versus Triple H. Like, those guys are taken.
Yeah.
So for the title, and if they want to make Roman Reigns a big star, turn him heel, which is already organic and natural, and do the same thing you did with The Rock. You know, The Rock wasn't getting over as a babyface, so they let him turn heel and speak to the fans as they're booing him. Acknowledge that they're booing him and tell them that you don't like them. You don't like that they're booing him. And then build it up to where you get over as a heel, and then when you swap back to babyface, you're going to be a successful babyface. So for me, I think if we're going towards a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania 32, one of those guys wins the Money in the Bank briefcase in 2 weeks, and maybe Ambrose or Reigns, either one, and then sometime flip Reigns and Rollins, do a double turn, and see if we can't get steam behind Reigns being the top heel to maybe turn him face later on.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I was actually thinking the same exact thing, and it comes off more genuine as Roman being that rocky type of authority corporate guy, and you see more depth into his character. And I think he's been improving in the ring over the past couple months since WrestleMania. You always see him lingering now since he lost the match at Payback, but he's always there whenever Dean Ambrose is getting knocked down from the Authority. So I can see where that's happening. I think a Shield triple threat match could be really good for the WWE. It's an interesting storyline. People buy that match as a main event as itself if it was a regular pay-per-view, but even on a WrestleMania stage, that's even bigger. And like, you have other matches, like you said, Rocket, Triple H, Sting, Taker. I mean, you can even have Brock against Orton if you wanted to.
Right.
Or maybe John fights either Hogan or Cena, whatever it is. But there's a lot of options, and I think that's something that's really cool with the WWE that maybe you didn't have a couple years ago, where you have more questions and you have answers. So I think that's something that could really work. Before we let you go, a couple more things. We were talking about thriving brands like NXT, and I think even maybe if people are not big WWE fans, there is more of an interest in what they're doing right now than it has in the past 3 or 4 years. So let's talk about TNA. It's been a big topic besides NXT TakeOver, but reporting
maybe for the wrong reasons.
Yes, absolutely. and Dave Meltzer reported that Destination America has had buyer's remorse already, and that in September, after their TV deal is done, they're canceling TNA altogether when it comes to Destination America. TNA, the brand, is not coming to an end, but once again, for the second straight year, they've lost the TV deal. Doug, what's your thoughts on this? I haven't got a chance to talk about it since this happened. It's been a really crazy week for Dixie Carter.
Yeah, I mean, we had reports come out, and you want to throw Dave Meltzer's name out, that's cool. You have other guys like, other minds in business like Vince Russo just destroying Dave Meltzer for even trying to say this. But I will say this about Dave Meltzer, as much of a dirt sheet guy as he is, because he is the king of dirt, he has credible sources, and he's only wrong maybe 35% of the time. And when he's wrong, he admits it and tells you why he was wrong. So he has credibility, okay, as much as anybody wants to. He's been doing this for 35 years. Like, it's ridiculous. So he comes out and says, Discover, which owns Destination America, Discovery is going to cancel Impact. And you have Dixie Carter, who had already a week before, publicly said or it was reported that she had told all the talent, don't listen to the rumors about our, anything dealing with our TV deal. Don't listen to the rumors about, don't look at the numbers, just enjoy working for us and all that kind of stuff. And this is after paychecks are coming in late, maybe sometimes months late. They just canceled a tour over in China that they were supposed to do to help their stars, make money overseas. So they canceled all that stuff, and then out of nowhere, Meltzer's like, well, we talked about that Discovery had a out with TNA in September, and they've already exercised it. So the company already knows that they're going to be losing their TV deal, and which, TNA, however, Dixie Carter and Kubrick and all these guys went nuts on Twitter and on social media, blasting Dave Meltzer and blasting the news, and like, this is ridiculous. People have been saying this for the last 10 years that we're going under, and we're not going under anytime soon, and blah, blah, blah. And that these reports are false, completely false. But, if they can prove it, then it would be one thing. But no one's proving that their deal is secured. There's no statement from Discovery. There's no statement from Destination America. And Meltzer's putting all this credibility on the line reporting this. Until one or the other can really say what the truth is and provide credible proof from Discovery or Destination America, it is what it is. It's speculation from both sides. But when Jim Ross, who never takes digs or throws jabs at anybody, when Jim Ross gets in his blog and blasts Carter and the other TNA executives and officials for how they handled the rumor and the reports and stuff, you've got issues.
Yep.
And there's problems, man. I mean, when Jim Ross is attacking you or telling you you messed up, you've messed up. And people are talking about TNA for the wrong reasons. They have a Slammiversary pay-per-view coming up, and they're about to tape the 4 weeks of content for their TV that will air after Slammiversary, before Slammiversary. These are things that they've been doing the last 2 years, man. There's going to be spoilers out 4 weeks before the 4 weeks before the TV show, after the pay-per-view. So you know what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. Why buy the pay-per-view?
Yeah,
it's smart stuff that doesn't register.
It screens TNA in a nutshell, and it's not the first time it's happened. I can see where they're talking about, these people are always attacking us, but this is something that hasn't started. This is not something that started last year. This is something that's been going on even after Hulk Hogan came to TNA. And it's ridiculous. I mean, everybody's been trying to figure out, what's that next wrestling company that's going to give WWE hell, or going to put them and make them, force them to do stuff, and they're actually going to try with their product. But really, the problem with TNA is, obviously, they're great wrestlers. I love covering the show each week. They got phenomenal talent. Sometimes the storylines are hit and miss, but that comes with every wrestling company. But the issue is TNA, with the same thing goes with all these other wrestling companies. No sense of market value or branding skills whatsoever. Nobody knows what a TNA brand is. They had it for a couple years with that X Division stuff, but TNA is just there. It's another product that tries to come off like the WWE, but it's not. And TNA is always something. It's always the internet's fault. It's always a talent's fault. But it's never about, the management has no sense of market building or making their brand stand out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, they honestly, TNA needs to run more like a Ring of Honor. Needs to run more like a PWG and not try to spend so much money on their production. Obviously, I mean, with 4 weeks of TV taping at one time, NXT does that, sure, but NXT is a hot commodity. And they're also not doing a lot of title changes on their TV. They're waiting until they're special. You don't run the special a day. You don't tape TV tapings 2 days before your pay-per-view. Yep. At least NXT isn't doing that, They do 4 weeks of tapings, and then there's a live special. And then they do 4 weeks of tapings, they do 4 weeks of tapings, they do 4 weeks of tapings, and then there's a live special. And so they're at least not spoiling what's going to happen on the pay-per-view. Why watch the pay-per-view? I mean, they need to just go to IPTV and just be, they already went to one pay-per-view a year, basically, because they just can't afford putting on more than that. But I hate that they're struggling as much as they are, because I really do enjoy some of the talent on there. Rude is awesome. I would love to see Rude in WWE someday when his contract's up. There's a lot of guys over there that are good and have stuff to offer to the business, but it's just there aren't a lot of eyes on TNA right now. There's more eyes and more tickets being sold to Ring of Honor events.
One more thing before we let you go, Doug. I've been thinking about this over the past couple of months, and as WrestleMania comes and we have that Rock Triple H match, there's been one rumor that I saw that's always been prevalent when it came to WrestleMania season. It was always Triple H pitting against Hunter and Stephanie for control of the company. It happened before 29, it happened before 30, and I heard something about it even before this year's WrestleMania. So here's the question I have for you, Doug. Is this the year by WrestleMania where the Authority finally disbands?
Be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know what the product would do without the Authority on it right now. Is it time for this angle to end? Probably, and maybe come back later on. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely in the plans to happen at WrestleMania 29, and things got switched up. And then, they talked about it for 30. CM Punk quit. So that changed everything for 30. And then this year, they had thought about maybe using the Sting angle for that, but that didn't really make a lot of sense because Sting's not a Vince McMahon guy. So they had to go NWO versus DX, and that gave us, a WrestleMania moment that'll live on forever. So I don't know. Maybe this is the year. Maybe The Rock is on Vince's behalf, but at the same time, I mean, everybody knows Vince is back there every week producing the show. I mean, he came out before Raw this past Monday and addressed the crowd and said, this is our final show in the Nassau Coliseum. Let's have some fun. Everybody knows he's there. This is a really smart era. There are a lot more people online than not at this point. There's a lot of casual fans, sure, but I mean, we're talking more of a 55-45 split at this point, where it used to be, 70-30, if not 75-25. So people know he's back there. It's just going to be. I mean, I think they missed the opportunity with it, because they did have, the tension building between Vince, Stephanie, and Triple H for like 5 or 6 weeks, and then Vince was gone. And so I think they've missed the opportunity for it to really be a success. I don't think it can be Vince sending out The Rock at this point. I think it has to be, maybe The Rock goes in the route of Sting, where he says, the Authority has run its course. We've got to get rid of the Authority, and if I beat you at WrestleMania, the Authority's done. Same kind of thing they've done in Survivor Series, and of course at this past WrestleMania kind of thing.
You can follow Doug at Twitter at Doug O'Mac. Follow Wrestling Rumors at Wrestle Rumors. Check out the YouTube channel with my good friends Adam and Sam, great friends of the show, and also my good friend out in the East Coast, my buddy Frank Mansell for Wrestle Reaction. Doug has a show every Mondays before Raw and on pay-per-views, and he has a great panel of guests right there. Doug, I had a blast getting to talk to you. It was fun for our first chat here. I'd love to have you back on sometime, and maybe sometime down the road, man, I'd love to be part of the crew.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. No, we'll talk about it.
Absolutely, man. I'll talk to you later, all right?
All right.